The Edmonton Oilers have not matched the offer sheets for Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway. And from the general consensus from Oilers fans, this is not ideal for this team. There are reasons, though, that this is going to be a positive, and I'm going to be discussing everything that has to come from this. We're also going to be talking about the trade that they actually made with the St. Louis Blues after the offer sheet has been completed to kind of finalize this deal and all of this in between. So before we get into all of this news here, we know that 89% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. If you're looking for a spot to get all of your Edmonton Oilers news, you're in the right spot. Make sure to hit the sub button, join us here on this channel as we cover everything regarding your Edmonton Oilers. But like I said, let's get into the big topic here that we have in this video, which is the offer sheet that was not matched from the St. Louis Blues. And this is pretty much a big surprise from what a lot of people are thinking. We know that we probably weren't going to claim or match the offer, I should say, for both of these players. But for myself at least personally, and I seem to see from the general organization of the Oilers that a lot of people thought we were going to match Dylan Holloway's offer. Dylan Holloway had the lower of the two contracts by quite a few $1 million, and really to me it seemed like the offer that was more likely to be matched and not even passed up upon, but apparently that was not the case. We're going to pull up our first screenshot here of this video, which is from Elliotte Friedman, kind of the confirmation that everything that that was finalized has been finalized. Both Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway have been informed that they are St. Louis Blues. The Oilers do not match, and one thing I believe is key here is Edmonton wants flexibility to add in season. And that's a good reason. That's one thing that I can say we're kind of all happy about. We want to see that the Edmonton Oilers can continue to add in the season, not kind of be held back with what they're working with. And that Philip Broberg deal was a big part of why this was the case and why this was not going to be a double match offer for this case. And the Oilers having that flexibility in season, I would say, is more important than having the flexibility right now. You want to be able to adapt mid-season to injuries and everything because that's almost guaranteed to happen in an NHL season, but let's just hope not. But having that availability really is a must. And going on from this, continuing on with their screenshots here, we have this one, Puckpedia, with the Oilers not matching the Broberg and Holloway contracts. They have $946,000 projected cap space for 21 healthy and plus Kane. With no moves, this can fit 4.4 annual cap hit at the deadline. Or could submit a roster including Savoy that's 59K under the cap, but Kane on LTIR, and be able to exceed cap by $5.06 million while Kane is out. They would not cure the cap space, and when later exiting LTIR would start at 0 space accrued. So kind of those are the results that we're looking at right now, that we could see at the start of the season, could see mid-season. And I think this is the plan that the Oilers really had, is to keep that cap space and have that flexibility throughout the season by working with their LTIR, by working with what they have left right now. But the part that really sets me off a bit is I don't agree with not matching the offer sheet for Holloway. Holloway was a good player, still having that experience and still working his way up to become a regular full-time NHL player. And having that contract, there's not much of a risk there. Someone like that who is that young, has that much potential for that price, you could match. And I do think that the Oilers, as Elliotte Friedman mentioned, they wanted that flexibility. They wanted to have the open space available for players to add, maybe on a PTO here in this offseason, but during the season as well as the big part. And from the decline or not matching these offer sheets, we kind of have this bit of compensation coming from St. Louis. So the Oilers declined, obviously, as Chris Johnson, Elliotte Friedman, everybody you can imagine who are reporting on this said at that first part. But Broberg's 2 years at 4.5. That's quite unreasonable. And Dylan Holloway's 2 years at 2.29. I still really don't see a lot of risk behind that, and especially since they're only getting a second and a third round pick in compensation. For an offer sheet, there's opportunities where you can get 4 first round picks for one player. This was not that time, but having those 2 picks for these 2 players at that cap, to me, it really just does seem like a very underwhelming return. Obviously, you're not going to get a huge return, especially since it was an offer sheet, but having this and having the way this looks, a lot of people are still questioning it, and me as well. I'm sure that the way the Oilers plan to work this out, the plan to use those picks, and I gotta say, I highly doubt the Edmonton Oilers will be making these picks. These are going to be flipped somewhere else. I'm pretty positive, and another big part why they're going to do that. And so We can only really sit back, look at it now, see what Stan Bowman decides to do. And a lot of people still kind of criticizing him for the few moves he's made early on. However, the addition of Podkolzin, I think, is a very, very good one. The better of the two, for sure, in my opinion. Still very young, a lot of potential for a 4th-round pick. You really cannot complain with that. And many people still wondering why Cody Ceci was traded if they were not going to match Dylan Holloway or Philip Broberg mainly in this one. And that's, again, once I'm assuming what Elliot Friedman had to say, the availability of flexibility in the offseason and heading into the season, but still leaves a gigantic hole on defense. So let me know what you think about the non-match of the offer sheets, what led up to this and everything to this point, and why do you think that there was no attempt to even take a look and claim one of these players? I'm sure there was, but to me, really didn't seem like they were interested in either of them. So moving on to our second topic here of this video, which is a trade, a very sneaky trade, in fact, that comes from the St. Louis Blues, not involved with the offer sheet deal, but I think it's a little handshake on the side to kind of confirm this and just to ensure that they don't match. And here's what we have. First of all, I'm going to pull up the trade in a separate transaction. This comes from the Edmonton Oilers themselves. In a separate transaction, the Edmonton Oilers acquire a 2028 3rd-round pick and the rights to defenseman Paul Fischer from the Blues. And I'm sure many people are probably wondering who Paul Fischer is, or if you've seen this tweet, you're already searching him up and kind of know who this kid is. And I'm telling you, what I'm seeing early on from him, I am liking a lot. And I'll pull up kind of his stats, what we have here. Still not too much. Only 19 years old, defenseman, 6'1", 200 pounds, or 6 foot 195 on Hockey DB. Elite Prospects has him as 6'1", 200. So still going to be finding out that there soon. But coming from the U.S. National Development Program, we know that's a very good program for many, many players coming out of the States, and especially what we've seen last year with Notre Dame. 34 points in 16 games. Defenseman, that's some pretty good numbers to start off with that you're kind of looking at early on, and especially at 19 years old. I'm very excited to see what he could do heading into his future. Obviously staying at Notre Dame, but the puck-moving defenseman that he is, good on his feet, being described as this coming out of the draft. He's a very good puck-moving defenseman from what we're seeing, and this is obviously a plan the Oilers have to continue with and try to build this defense up for the future. Now, although this is not going to affect the current Oilers, this is still going to be a big piece of the future, which seems to be a trend that Stan Bowman is kind of looking for and kind of getting some younger players or pushing for some younger players as this team progresses. But that's all I got here in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like. Let me know what you think about it. Hit the sub button as well. The support here on this channel has been absolutely insane lately. You guys are supporting Aiden and Matt incredibly, so I do appreciate you all for the support on this channel. They've been absolutely killing it, so I want to give some props to them. But like I said, that's all I got. Let me know what you think about the trade here, interestingly, the pretty sneaky one, as well as the non-match from the Oilers. But like I said, that's all I got. I'm signing out. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.